Okay, and we're live. So I've got Joy Division here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got 3 out of 4 players. We've got None or Noodles here, Mr. Derp, and Caitlin in the room. So we're just waiting on our fourth.
Right. Finals bidding about to start. Um, this is going to be a really important moment when we finally see the combinations available for the last game of this digital edition tournament.
Yeah. There have been a lot of games to lead up to this point, both in preliminary. We started with about 70 players, and
Hmm.
it's been whittled down since then. We got down to about, what would we say, 16 in the out rounds, and then there
Yeah,
have been games since then to whittle it down even farther. So there's been a there's the bracket was double elimination. So if that gives you an idea just how many games these players had to go through to get to this point.
right. It's for some players, this is their 10th game of Scythe in a competitive format. So it's quite a bit,
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
considering like all the different time zones and schedules and just the vast array of people that have participated in this tournament.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the. Okay, we're spectating now. So
Nice.
we've got our we've got our combinations. Let's see if I can get this larger here.
Wow, you know what? I really like this. I do. The one thing I'll say right off the bat is I do feel bad for whoever will be playing Tagawa Mechanical in the Scythe finals. So
Yeah,
hopefully it comes at the right price.
yeah, that's definitely true. So we've got Rust Viet Engineering, which can end the game pretty quickly. Um, if everything goes well, 14 turns can be pretty normal. And Nordic Innovative can end in about the same time. Would you say that Nordic Innovative can get a little quicker spread earlier in the game than Rust Viet Engineering?
It really depends. If you're going to take into account encounters and factory card, Nordic is more reliant on luck for that to happen. But if it goes their way, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's definitely right. Rust Viet Engineering, all things being equal, is the safest bet here.
Absolutely. And they go first too, which is a huge advantage if you're talking about a rush game.
Yeah, definitely with Nordic Innovative going last in the rotation there. Rust Viet Engineering already up to 6. Um,
Yeah,
we've got
I
Dur
wouldn't be
going
surprised.
for Nordic Innovative, which doesn't surprise me at all. He likes that combination. He plays well with that combination, and I've seen him dominate over higher tiered combinations with Nordic Innovative specifically. So,
Yeah.
speaking of tiers, let's go to our tier list really quickly. Um, we've got Rust Viet Engineering as an A tier combination, and I'd say that maybe even undersells it, that it's a high A tier combination. We've got Takawa
I,
Mechanical, which is all the way down at F, Saxony Patriotic, which comes in at B, and Nordic Innovative, which is at B, but maybe should be a low A. That's
it
something we're going
definitely
to
should
look at.
be. Yeah. I feel like if we were to, given the matchups in front of us, like with these four specific ones, I'm very high on Russ and Nordic. I would expect they're in double digits. As we say that, RussFit jumps up to 14.
Yeah, None doesn't mess around when it comes to bidding.
Right.
It's he's a no nonsense bidder. Sometimes he'll bid for what he expects a combo. I've seen him bid for what he expects a combo to be worth, even though maybe I'm not sure a 6 coin separation between Rust Viet Engineering and Nordic Innovative makes the most sense. But I think None's expecting Nordic Innovative is going to go higher anyway, so why not go ahead and jump on Rust Viet Engineering for what he thinks it's worth?
Yeah. And the one positive of doing that strategy, because obviously it has the risk of like the bids not getting to where you think they should be. The one positive of doing this is you can now watch what players are bidding back and forth on and kind of see who wants what, try to get a read.
Right.
And as I say that, he gets kicked off of RustFit, so maybe it didn't work so well.
Yeah, Rust Viet Engineering is super powerful in a straight up game, but I
Hmm.
find that it can be a little bit challenging to play a tier 1 strategy with Rust Viet Engineering. And really get enough coins to clear a substantial bid.
I agree with you because it's very likely Rustviet doesn't even get 15 coins this game, like raw coins.
Right. Yeah, not without a
Um,
slower strategy that involves some upgrades.
yeah.
And
So Nordic's
especially
looking better and better to me with the cost. Like only 3 up on Saxony, that seems very doable.
in 9 on Tagawa Mechanical.
Yeah.
We're obviously not done bidding, but right now I feel like Nordic Innovative may be the best value on the board.
I really wish we could swap Tagawa out for something, functional, like Polania or something.
We've got chat weighing in on what they want. We got JT Dooney saying he wants to see a Tagawa Mechanical win. Got
No,
two.
Tagawa will not win this game. I'll say that right now.
It depends on how high the bids go, doesn't it?
I guess so. But could you actually imagine Tagawa getting 6 stars? Because no one is going to end for second in this game. That's just,
Yeah.
I think that really lessens Tagawa's value.
I think you're probably right about that. And Mechanical is so slow and so challenging. I mean, it costs 4 food for the
Upgrade or for enlisting, yeah.
for enlisting, which you want to do early, but it's challenging to get the power to do it. We've got
It wouldn't be a
none jumping
complete
back over
joke.
to Nordic Innovative at 12.
Mm-hmm.
That gap is closing with Rustviet Engineering, but still only 3 ahead of Saxony Patriotic.
If you're Tagawa, though, I think you can count on 4 mechs out of Rustviet and 4 mechs out of Saxony. So getting that early enlist can be huge as far as the bidding, like getting rid of that bid difference.
I feel like as Tagawa Mechanical, I want to see Nordic Innovative get to close to 16 to 18, and I want to see Rustviet at plus 20 before
Oh, for cost, yeah.
I
mean, it's
I'm
getting
willing to
there.
go Tagawa Mechanical. And that can be challenging for these bid games because the thing is, Rustviet Engineering, for instance, in Tier 1 strategy, and Jeremy's background is TTS. He was a predominantly TTS player for a long time. It came over to Digital Edition more heavily, although he'd played it before definitely for a substantial number of games when we started doing tournaments. So he's definitely no stranger to Tier 2 strategy.
Yeah.
TTS tends to focus more on popularity, as without the score counter, it's much easier to feel comfortable about a win in a close game in Tier 1.
True. This
What's
is
up,
tough.
VMer?
Like,
Welcome to the stream.
if I was in this game, there's no way I would find myself taking Tagawa. I really can't think
BB
of what a good
Scythe
price
says
would
it's
be.
BB Scythe says it's about Tagawa time now. Are we there yet? I don't know
No,
if we're there
Tagawa is
yet.
so bad. They're so bad.
I think Rustviet Engineering is getting to where they need to be. I think Nordic Innovative is still a little bit low. I mean, Nordic Innovative can put up 60 coins in 14 to 15 turns. And I mean, what have you actually accomplished by turn 14 or 15 as Tagawa Mechanical in most games?
Nothing. Sadness. The real joke of it is they have 0 power. Like, if that wasn't the case, you could actually do some cool openings. But you just can't even produce with enough workers for the mechanical board.
Yeah, Jamie
I don't
was
know.
a little worried. The story goes when Invaders from Afar was created about Tagawa and Albion not having to build Riverwalk mechs. He was just concerned that without starting one with no combat cards and starting one with no power, that they would just rush the factory. I think that has something to do with in the early days of this game, an overestimating the power of factory cards to win
Right.
this game.
But as players have grown faster and more experienced, we've learned they really are at a disadvantage when it comes to starting resources.
Well, most definitely. 0 power is a huge slowdown on Tagawa's game.
So what I don't like about these bids is that now Nordic Innovative and Rust Engineering are at a cost where finishing as fast as you can might not even get you the win, and you have to go for something a little different.
Yeah. And that's one of the interesting things about bidding strategically is that Rustviet may be head and shoulders better than everything else. But at the same time, if you go with a tier 1 strategy and you find yourself with 50 to 55 coins, I mean, 23 subtracted out from that is going to put you in the low 30s. And at that point, Tagawa Mechanical says, well, maybe I can hit mid to high 30s in coins by turn 14 or 15. And especially with it just, the bids get high enough and you just suddenly can't cover them in tier 1 anymore because everybody can get sort of a basic threshold of coins by a certain turn, no matter how weak the combination is. Tagawa Mechanical may lose to Rustviet Engineering in 99 games out of 100, but that doesn't mean Rustviet can clear a 25 coin bid in tier 1.
Yeah. The biggest problem, in my opinion, when it comes to Tagawa Mechanical specifically with these matchups is you have to rely on other people doing the necessary work for you to get you into that winning position, because you just aren't going to be able to push workers around or control territory like the other factions can. And you really need people to, advocate for stalling the game if you want to have a chance.
Beamer in chat points out what you were saying, that Nordic Innovative goes last here. I said a little bit earlier that if I'm Tagawa, I want to see Nordic Innovative around that 18 mark and Rustviet plus 20 at least. And that's about where we are. So we're not going to, I don't think we go too much longer before we see Tagawa Mechanical being taken by somebody. It's Nun's turn right now. He and Derp both have a habit for going for the low tier combos once the bids go high enough. I mean, can we see? I almost think Nordic's chance going last is harsh.
Yeah.
But Rustviet and Nordic have got to get early spread in this game and either end quickly or get themselves into tier 2 to have a real shot. Nordic's gambling a lot on what that factory card is.
I keep thinking like what the bids would be like if you just replaced Tagawa with Polania, and I feel like you'd reduce all of them by 10 and play and feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Noodles on Tagawa has a 17 buffer over Sax and Nordic, 25 against Rustviet.
We knew it was going to be Nun or Derp though, right? I mean, we knew it.
Yeah, they've definitely shown a willingness to pilot those lower tiered combinations with good success too. So the one thing I'll be looking for is how does Nun plan to get 6 stars, and maybe are we going to see Saxony's domination play into this, where they can't avoid getting 6 stars? That could be a mechanism used to end the game in Tagawa's case.
Yeah, but the difficulty with that strategy, if you're Tagawa and right now just getting the bids onto the screen, is, as you well know, everybody can run away from you if you're Tagawa. And that happened in the last final, is Tagawa got in a position where they had 5 stars, but no one would give them a combat. And everyone just ran away from them. So if you're Tagawa, can you force combats with Saxony to end the game? I mean, if Saxony's not willing to give them to you? I mean,
right. You maybe can't force it, but you could say, okay, you're going to have to leave the factory now, or else I'm going to make you end the game. Yeah. And that's like a good trade-off if, the situation permits.
Yeah. So we've got Rustviet at 25, Tagawa at nothing, Saxony and Nordic both at 17. So Saxony may be here counting on a longer game. So let's just go over real quick. We've got Jeremy on Rustviet. We've got Nun on Tagawa. We've got Caitlin on Saxony. And we've got Dur on Nordic Innovative.
Correct.
So now it's just a matter of waiting for the game to start while they go through the practical process of selecting their mats and combinations. And as soon as they start here, we'll hit the spectate button and be in the game. Avid said every trap is the coin trap.
As always, yeah.
Yeah, the coin trap really hurts
Right.
in a big game. There's no
I
question about that.
I absolutely love that we've seen this meta shift of, oh, the pop trap is so good. Like you push them down a tier and pop. You put that on the factory. To now we bid for factions, and now the coin trap is like by far the most devastating trap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So who do you like in this game if you're just talking about the bids, not the players?
I have to go with Saxony here. I think Saxony suffers the most from an enlisting perspective. They don't get coins from Tagawa, and depending on the factory card that Nordic gets, they kind of miss out on resources there. But in a game that's gonna go longer with these bids, Saxony makes the most money for what they've got going on. The patriotic board is no joke in raw coins, and I think that's a favor over a rush at this cost.
Yeah. Saxony Patriotic just takes so long to get out of the base. I worry if I'm them. Do I have enough raw coin? Even if the game goes longer, is there going to be are there going to be spaces for me to still claim once I'm ready to get out of the base? Or have
Mm-hmm.
Nordic and Rusviet just between Nordic, Rusviet, and Tagawa, have they just saturated the board by that time? It's interesting to point out Tagawa in the game I feel like is a substantial nerf to Rusviet, especially if none I see none here moving toward the factory pretty deliberately. And you mentioned the difficulty of getting 6 stars with Tagawa. Some of that is alleviated or at least helped by a relatively early factory card. And it looks like the game's starting.
Yes.
All right. Here it is, Rusviet's turn. Ready to go. Yeah, to answer your question, BB, it's Tagawa Mechanical's economy is considered pretty low tier. Saxony Patriotic is slow, but it has the benefit of getting a lot of coin off those deploys. And if they choose to go for a longer game, off of Enlist as well, although they don't have the early access to food. Rusviet produces. Chat, I'm sure you are shocked. Go with the early move action. Not choosing to double up on the farm for the early enlist. Saxony here probably going to trade for oil, you would think. Usually the patriotic board likes to go with a couple upgrades. We see it produce out of Saxony, though.
I think I like that. There's no rush. There's no rush to, get out there sprinting. So you can try to limit your trades by throwing in a produce. I do like what Nordic just did, but I'm afraid for everyone else.
Probably going to see the second produce out of Rusviet. Pretty much a double produced start every game with Rusviet unless you have the innovative board.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm interested to see what kind of strategy Gawa goes with. Maybe an early upgrade with that mechanical board. I mean, it helps, but it's slow.
This first encounter is absolutely huge if you're able to get resources of any kind. But there's no guarantee you will find that. So I'll be very interested to see what Tagawa grabs on the mountain there.
Got to produce out of Nordic rather than going for the metal trade. So forgoing a bottom row action or at least delaying it.
I gotta say, I'm a big fan of the upgrade opening when it comes to Nordic, since it just does wonders for deploying mechs. It's
Beamer
hard to get
says
free
none as
oil.
Tagawa Mechanical is copying him. Chat wanting
Oh
to
my
take a little
gosh.
bit of credit.
No one copies anyone on Tagawa Mechanical. It's just a suffering fest. Let's be honest.
Bids are high, though.
Yeah,
Gonna
it's
keep it interesting.
your neighbor's on 25. That must feel pretty good. Ooh, did you catch what mech that was? I think it's speed, which I support. Speed's the way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I mean, Rust V8 usually takes Riverwalk unless it's the engineering board. Upgrades are often seen as the way to go, which doesn't really restrict you to either a rush or a stall game. You keep your options open. So we get the 2 popularity for 1 in list. Tagawa functionally committing themselves to a tier 1 game unless this game goes really long.
Right.
But going with that coin in list you mentioned, and they've only missed 1 mech, so they're looking to pick up 7 coins in this game.
That's pretty good.
I missed
Problem is
the
they won't be making mechs themselves.
chat thinks he should have taken number 2. What chat was that $2 for 1 medal? I missed the encounter. $2 for 4 metal, not 1 medal. 1
You
medal would
could,
be a
but
ripoff.
the power that you got is essential. Like you really needed that power.
So this is not an easy call. The 2 power and combat cards is nice in a rush game, but does power is an issue with engineering.
Yeah.
But those 2 coins are precious.
Right. There wasn't a better option. Option 1 was pretty bad.
Agree. These players are playing pretty quickly. They kind of know
Right.
what they want to do, and they're taking their turns pretty rapid rates so far.
That's good though. You definitely like to see people take a faction deliberately, like have a plan for it, or at least
Definitely.
act like they have a plan.
The Saxony set themselves up with 4 metal, and right now they're probably thinking whether or not they want to move, take the upgrade and conserve some of their metal, or go ahead and deploy that speed mech so that on that first move they can get the upgrade and pick up the encounter. At least that's what would be going through my head at this moment.
Yeah. A mech at 4 cost is just not worth it, especially if it took you till round 4 to get it. I think you could stomach that if you got it earlier.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess it
just
depends. It just depends on what the encounter is. Like if you find 4 metal there, yeah, it doesn't really matter, but that's a low chance.
one of the $2 for 4 metal cards is already out.
Mm.
So the chances of that have been decreased.
I think the best encounter for Saxony is just a combination of oil and money.
Definitely would like the second upgrade without having to spend a turn getting oil.
Yeah.
Saxony going with that move action. Gonna save some of their metal in all likelihood. We see that that tundra worker maybe go up to that village. No. Gonna stay on the tundra.
Bold. This is quite the slow open, but maybe they're just not feeling the pressure of needing to rush out, which is fair.
We got Derp on Nordic, finally getting out the speed mech in round 5. Not in a hurry. Avid's calling machine over muscle for Saxony. So maybe that explains some of the
If I had
interesting
machine over
choices.
muscle, I would just ignore it. It's not worth it.
I mean, even if your other one is something like create a permanent foothold, you go
Honestly, I
for
would just
a
get the
no
power star.
objective sax.
Yeah. The amount of points you get from having the workers, from 8 workers, far outweighs getting a star if you're Saxony, in my opinion. Especially if you're doing the patriotic board, like the power star is not that difficult to get.
Tagawa lays the first trap. Gets it on that tunnel, one of Rustviet's exit points.
I must say, Tagawa's moving a lot quicker than I anticipated.
Yeah, I thought
Um,
None might go for that factory quickly, supplement that economy with a factory card.
Initially, I thought they had no chance to get there, but Nordic has really taken their time
Mm-hmm.
moving around.
You
I feel
notice
like,
that Saxony took the underpass mech?
yeah, I like that because you don't really have workers to move around anyway.
Definitely puts a little pressure on Tagawa.
I doubt Saxony would jump that tunnel, but like they, especially since they don't have their upgraded move yet. I
And if
also am curious why they produced, why they bolstered for a mech instead of producing, because now it's going to be awkward to move without upgrading.
BMR, isn't it Riverwalk? No, I think
No, it's
I saw
underpass.
underpass out of Saxony.
Yeah, underpass.
What Saxony do last time? They bolstered for that mech. I mean, surely we're going to see a move out of Saxony now. But maybe not. They left that worker on the Tundra when they had the chance to move it. So maybe she had more, maybe Caitlyn had more produces planned.
Caitlyn's gonna have to trade now. I think her turn order is a little jacked up. Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
And now Nordic's game starts to get kind of interesting. Got him
Yeah, this
picking
is
up the
big.
encounter, and then
I
then
think you go to the food here, don't you?
yeah,
Yeah, because
I usually like to have two mechs out at this point, which
I agree
really
with you.
expands your options when it comes to where you're going to take those workers.
Whoa.
The answer is metal and food.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it, but they upgraded produce. They're gonna produce on 3 tiles. I did not catch that. That
Derp
is
always
some
keeping it
innovation right there,
interesting.
I must say.
Innovation with the innovative board.
You rarely see triple produce as the first upgrade, and that is what happened.
So a little bit slower strategy out of Nordic, but I mean, we talked about how Nordic might have to go with this slower strategy. And
But what
one
I like
thing,
about this is they're gonna deploy and enlist for the rest of the game. Like, every turn is gonna be a bottom row action now. Produce, move, produce, move. It's gonna feel good, I think.
and Nordic is at 6 power after that encounter, which is a good bit for Nordic Innovative, I would say.
Yeah. They definitely would have preferred to find an upgrade and 2 food. Like, that would have been the absolute best, encounter in there for them,
Definitely.
but this isn't bad. It could definitely be worse, I'd say.
They're bringing out the new opening in the finals.
It's awesome. I think it's really cool to see that even at this level where we've grinded so many hours of this game, you still find improvements to make, and
Yeah.
we'll have to
What?
see how it plays out, but it's just exciting.
Why? What? 4 years after this game coming out, there's still people playing on a high level and continuing to come up with new ways to play this game.
Yeah, the depth definitely keeps me coming back.
Uh, hey, MVM noob, Tagawa's got the mechanical board. If you missed the bidding, so for anyone who missed the bidding, Tagawa's sitting on the mechanical board, and we have None playing that, or Noodles, if you know him by that. We have Saxony on the patriotic board, played by Caitlyn, and we have Derp, Mr. Derp, on the innovative board playing Nordic.
I've got a comment here like, oh, that was Township. That
Oh,
is Township.
Township.
Um, this is
Tagawa's
not going to
hearts.
be good. This is not going to go well for somebody. But I was going to say, Rusviet, if we see Nordic just throw down Seaworthy and then crash the factory, that could happen.
Tagawa's heart sunk a little bit to see Township out of Rustviet, don't you think?
Yeah, and just look at Tagawa fighting their mat so hard. They're just doing all the things they need to do of force of will. Like the mechanical board does not want to do any of these things. And here they are on the village tunnel. Okay, that's
So
speed. Yikes. This just got a lot more dangerous very quickly. We saw township and now speed. And now I'm guessing seaworthy.
you would
In
think.
in one round, people really geared up for a fight here.
But yeah, we'll
I
see
think you put
Seaworthy, and then you
seaworthy.
would think a move to the factory out of Nordic.
Yeah, I like that they put it on that tile too. Now they can double.
But Rustviet can beat them there.
Is it worth losing a fight to get first look at factory cards? I think it is. If you can get a popularity factory card as Rustviet, you saved yourself. Like that's a win condition.
Yeah. AM Morning points out that Saxony can actually get to the factory this turn before anybody else does if Tagawa does not move here.
Well, they can't beat Rustviet.
Well, they can because
Doesn't Rustviet get to move right now?
oh, is it Rust? It's still Rustviet's turn, isn't it? That's my bad. I thought we'd
But you're
already
right.
moved on.
They can go directly through underpass.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they only have the double move, so that's their entire turn. Like they still have their workers on their starting tiles, which is kind of brutal.
Rick Size, thanks for the sub. Appreciate you.
Though I must say, if machine over muscle is something that you have and cared about, like this is your best shot.
Here's Rustviet gambling on the factory, probably as you said, looking for that popularity card, making tier 2 an option here.
Yeah, we'll see what they grab. I'm sure they'd be interested in popularity and also a card that lets them either deploy or enlist, because that makes the engineering board much, much faster.
Mm-hmm.
Getting one of those two things.
Do you think about an attack on Rustviet here if
Yeah,
Tagawa doesn't
definitely.
move? You've got the power
So
advantage. They might not move another unit, although it looks like they're thinking about it.
Saxony maybe will attack. I think based on what we think their objective is, I would say they definitely want to. Nordic does not want them to attack because Nordic wants to crash the factory and would rather fight 3-power Rustviet than 7-power Saxony, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case.
I also am remembering now, Nordic only has one card, so I'm sure they are I'm sure they're crossing their fingers Saxony does not move.
Yeah, because that second unit doesn't do you a lot of good. You might think about moving it anyway because you're going to enlist and you can take combat cards. So you might bring 2 units with you, even
Yeah,
if you can just play the one card.
2 is a good call because you can control that territory as you move off of it.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, though, you can't bring your worker because you need to keep it on metal.
Right.
So you can't like deploy on the factory, which is a very, very powerful position to take. Now, Rustfeet's thinking about their second and third move right now. So they have the upgraded move. They're going to enlist so they can grab some power or some cards, but they need to figure out where they're going to put their workers. Um, on round 8, with only 2 upgrades, you can consider going to 8 workers now. I think the question becomes like, how many mechs do you bring to the factory?
We're going to get our first enlist out of Rustviet. Rustviet not wasting a bottom row action moving to the factory in this game. Choosing to double up with at least, yeah, with 2 units now.
So they chose not to move a third unit, which I think is awkward because you're probably done with upgrades, right?
Yeah, I don't know. You've Avid, this is the Rustviet Matt. Tagawa has 3 metal on the ground. So with only 2 food, there's a good chance we're seeing a bolster produce out of them this turn if they don't move. They would definitely take a gamble if they do move that Saxony can steal that metal, which Saxony might consider doing, considering they have the patriotic board. But if we see a bolster into a deploy out of Tagawa here, we could see Toka. And then Rustviet's in a little bit of a vulnerable position at that point.
If I know Noodles, I think he's going to take Sutan. That's my guess.
Bold prediction. About to find out.
Wow, factory card number 4. So that looks like 1 card for 3 coins. That is not what I thought they would be looking for. I got to be honest.
Well, there may not be anything better.
True. It's very true.
That's a long game Rustviet's playing for. I mean, Polani is not in this game, so you can pick up this village encounter. You don't have Riverwalk. If you had Riverwalk, you could actually steal Saxony's encounter. What mech did we get out of Tagawa? You called it.
Yeah. The lake is just a really powerful place to be and very safe too.
The Saxony round 8 still has not
What?
moved a worker to the village.
Did you see that? Are we looking at divide and conquer?
It's got to be divide and conquer.
What the hell is going on?
It's got to be divide and conquer. There it is.
No. My dear. So they didn't take the iron tile at all. Like that seems rough to me.
Yeah. The guy was glad though.
Wow.
And allow them to move to that tile if they're so interested. They maybe took Sutan to protect themselves a little bit, expecting Saxony to take that metal tile.
So obviously there's many ways to play Saxony, but the issue here is that Saxony Patriotic makes a lot of money. Like their engine is no joke.
We didn't see a move out of Nordic. We saw a gain action.
Yeah.
Before that enlist.
So they don't want to do a 2v1, and they're at the same power as Rustviet now.
Yeah.
But they'll be able to move. Like Saxony can't move, for example. So I think their position is still strong.
To answer your question from earlier, Rustviet not done with upgrades.
Yeah.
Let's check in on the score here.
You spend a turn producing. Probably not going to hurt you too much if you're not worried about finishing first.
Nordic trailing the pack. The scores are pretty close, even before the bids. An oil trade out of Saxony, perhaps planning to actually go to the village now. In what would be round 10. Miss Blushy, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it.
Back to Nordic already. They might just produce here.
I mean, artillery at this point does a lot for you.
Yeah, and you have no problem waiting because you get stronger every turn.
Rustviet no longer has an easy access to this village encounter down here by Crimea.
What they will do, though, is take their farm encounter, I believe, if they trade for 2 food here. I mean, it's not their turn yet, but they just need Riverwalk, I think.
You can't do that with your factory card because you have to occupy that village, though.
Yeah, so if they trade for 2 food, they'll be able to get Riverwalk on the table and then move using their township ability. There's artillery, though. They might just get sent home, so they won't have to worry about that.
So whose position do you like the best here so far?
I can tell you I really don't like Saxony's. I think that's tough.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think Nordic is looking good, but they paid a good amount for this combo. Rustviet's doing everything they should be doing to win. I think I think getting there first was a bold call, but I think you had to do it. Unfortunately, the factory card they got, I'm not sure is the best fit.
I don't know as Saxony that you should have rushed Divide and Conquer. It
Right.
feels
Would you
like
rather have divide and conquer or like 30 coins? I'm not sure if it depends what else they're having, like holding.
there's the Riverwalk mech you thought they might go with. I don't hate Tagawa's position here. They're 2 coins off the lead, and that doesn't count the very substantial bids. So really Tagawa blowing everybody's doors off in terms of just raw score right now after the bids.
Hmm.
Is he going to trap that lake?
Probably.
You don't have Polani in this game. But yeah, trap comes out on the lake, restricting
You can
Nordic
like
spread.
it's a free territory and you've got 4 traps, so I think you might as
Mm-hmm.
well.
It's a good point.
Also, it really hurts Nordic if they like are controlling the factory and want to move off of it. Look
Here
at
comes our
this.
first battle.
Yeah.
I don't like that Nordic has taken this much time to get out of the base. One of the pluses of being Nordic without Polani in the game is you can spread to the Polania base. But Nordic has kind of lost the opportunity to control the center of the board unless Saxony or Rusviet throws a lot right here and allows Nordic to get out.
Yeah. How do you think Saxony feels about this fight? Like, is it a all-in situation for them? It took them 3 turns to get here.
I mean,
I
I
feel like
think if you're
they're
Saxony here, you consider a bluff. Rusviet doesn't get hurt that much being sent home. And like
yeah.
you said, Saxony's position's kind of rough right now. They're going to have to take some gambles. They lose this battle.
They spend it all.
Oh my gosh.
They spend it all. Nordic is smiling.
I mean, I think you had to bluff there because if you get sent home, maybe you're done. But if you spend it all, you
Jeez.
might be done anyway.
Saxony will no longer be in the running for the Power Star. I might eat my words based on the factory and encounters, but I'm going to say it right now. Like, they just blew kind of their only stock they were holding, right?
Well, if they do have machine over muscle, they just went to 3 stars.
Yeah.
But you're only
I
4
just, they
coins
have
ahead of
no
Tagawa,
spread.
and
They have no workers.
you need 17. And as you just said, no
Okay,
workers to
that
spread.
card, that factory card is phenomenal. They took an amazing factory card.
There it
There's
is.
machine over muscle. That's 2 objective stars. And now they can enlist while moving.
I mean, if they had workers, they'd be sitting pretty.
Yes. So will they have the patience? Will they be able to get up to a serious amount of workers and spread while it's still a fast game here?
Here comes Nordic with artillery. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's brutal.
you bluff Nordic if you're right here. Saxon can't afford to spend much of anything, can they?
I mean, they only have 2 cards and 1 power, so it's not very different between going all out and spending nothing here. They're
And if you're Nordic
perhaps
and you lose, you just retreat to these 2 lakes, which is not a
yeah.
bad position to be in.
The best case scenario for Tagawa is for Saxony to win somehow. But I doubt they would spend much. I think you just throw 2.
Gawa
You throw 2,
looking
you
really
go
good to
home.
stall this game right now. Yeah,
Yikes.
Nordic bluffs pretty hard.
I don't know. They spent some power there.
I saw. Did they throw? Oh yeah, they spent 2 power.
They had bad cards though, so I understand.
Gotta have bad cards to have done it like
But
that.
they're gonna enlist, so they'll get a little boost here.
Probably take the power.
At least for Tagawa, they're gonna be able to make a move onto the factory if people stay at such low power. Okay, so we've seen 3 factory cards now. Power for 3 coin. I gotta say, Sax is the winner here in terms of pickings.
On that factory card.
Yeah.
Can Saxony win this game though? I mean, isn't it gonna
Well,
just take too much time to get these workers out now?
I think you can move. Oh gosh, yeah, they're in a bad position worker wise, really bad.
You got to get
Um,
both of those workers on that village, don't you?
you do, and you can use your factory card, get an encounter, get an enlist. Use your regular move, get your villagers where they're supposed to be, get another enlist or another encounter. That's a pretty good 2-turn sequence there, where a lot could change for them. So technically, they're only 2 produces away from max workers, but you have to get those very quickly.
Yeah, I still have no idea what Tagawa's plan is to get to 6 stars, but no one is even close to having the points to end this game. I mean, look at this. Nordic actually improving substantially, taking the factory, but still just 6 ahead of Tagawa. They need 11 more. So Nordic probably in the best position to end this if Tagawa continues to play a stall.
Yeah, like you said, the problem with Tagawa is they won't be able to throw down the 6-star. They won't have any control over the end game. But I will say that a trap on a factory substantially changes the way you play. If you're able to threaten Shinobi to factory end game, like that's a very, very powerful thing.
And there's no reward for second here.
Right.
It's not like, this is not the Olympics where we hand out a silver medal. Whoever wins this, their name becomes yellow in the Discord, and they're a tournament champion from now on. But
right. This is a 1-0-0-0 is what we call it, where if you're not first, you're last.
Exactly right. So Rusty can pick up 2 popularity here, but do you do that without a popularity factory card? Because that only puts you at 2 or at 4.
I think they still have the pop enlist available, so that could be only 1 away from tier 2. Seems like a good choice.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, confirmed.
The problem is they need 2 combats, and these players aren't just going to hand those over without a popularity tag.
Chat points out that Nordic's sitting pretty to get themselves to... Ooh. Rustviet committing themselves now to a tier 1 game.
Why, though?
I don't know.
You have a 25 bid.
You can't... I mean, Tagawa's at 21.
You're at negative points right now.
You're committing yourself to a 40 to 46 coins, which you can do. But gee.
Also, if you look at this movement, it's very strange. Like they have a worker on metal and a worker on food, but they're only going to be able to produce 1 of those. Oh, spoke too soon again. They've upgraded production. What is with this production upgrade this game? Yeah, so they'll be trading next turn instead of moving, which is fine, but
Yao has a lot of resources on the board right now. Using to continue to work on that economy. Using a 3-worker strat. Up to 5 power though now.
the issue I have with the factory cards is like if you imagine spamming 1 card for 3 coins and you do that repeatedly, you're still only making 3 to maybe, let's just say you're making 5 coins a turn because you get an encounter, hopefully. That's not going to be as competitive as you think. Like someone who just moves and spreads can make way more than 5 a turn.
Right. You're depending on the game going long is what you're doing. Because
Right.
you're depending on being able to get to full spread at some point in the game. You're depending on being able to get all your bottom row actions and get your stars. And later in the game, when no one's going to end it because no one can cover their bid, that 3 coins a turn with effectively unlimited combat cards right now could come in pretty clutch.
Yeah. The thing that I struggle with is Rustviet has locked themselves in to tier 1. They have 0 pop. And if you're going to eat a 25 coin bid and have max, like everything goes your way, you have maximum spread, you have everything you could ask for, you're still only looking at like a score of 60-ish. And then you have to subtract 25 from that. Like your window is getting very narrow with the current situation.
Just saw a factory card out of Saxony, still not moving to that village.
I do agree with this play though. Um, they can't do a regular move, but they can pick up an encounter and then pick up another encounter.
At 2 metals set themselves up for another bolster deploy, which they're sitting at 9 coins. Are you surprised to see Saxony Patriotic losing the coin battle right now?
Well, I'm not surprised based on the moves they have chosen, but I am surprised, like pre turn one or whatever. I would have expected a very different game from them. So yes, to answer your question.
The Rustviet's worker spread allows them to produce this is interesting because producing once is going to give them 1 food. You would think they would trade for... Are they considering trading for pop? Is that possible?
Who?
No, Rustviet's committed themselves to tier 1. So we're probably
Yeah,
going to
they
see a
will.
trade for food and a deploy. If not next turn, then soon after.
Right.
But that puts them 1 food short, doesn't it? Of their last 2 enlists?
Um, it does. I mean, food is very common. They hopefully will find some.
Bolster deploy out of Saxony. Saxony losing the coin battle and with no workers to spread by turn 12.
Yeah.
I mean, feels bad. I don't know. I don't know that they're still in contention in this game anymore.
I mean, they definitely played to their objectives. So they don't have to do bottom row actions anymore, but you sacrificed the worker star, and that's like a star that's worth a lot more than 3 points if you think about it.
Yeah, the 3 stars are deceptive here because you're a long way away from the worker star. I mean, you can get combats
Right.
and you have the most power, but
I think if you're Sax, you have to go double produce to 8. Like there's not much more you can do.
I mean, you're 5 coins ahead of Tagawa before the bid, 12 behind after the bid. And where are those points going to come from if you can't spread?
Right. Okay, here is Tagawa's chance to trap the factory.
Power situation putting Tagawa at 5 and Nordic at only 2. Nordic kind of showing their hand too that their combat cards might be really bad.
Yeah, I mean Tagawa takes this for sure. I don't blame Nordic for doing this. I think they need to get to 8 workers and spread, which is what they're setting up for. The awkward thing is that they don't have their fourth. Oh, never mind. They have 4 mechs, so they're good. Looking at their resources, they have enough food to get that current enlist. They just need 2 more for their 4th. And here they have it, 2 food.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
got what they needed.
Yeah.
But they were
And
gonna
I like
they were gonna produce one more time anyway. But without that 2 food, they'd be 1 short.
yeah.
So let's see where Nordic is now. Nordic at 49, hitting tier 2.
That's amazing. I mean, they're gonna lose
They
the
are
factory.
they are covering the bid against Tagawa right now.
Yeah.
With minimal spread. I mean,
And here's what I love. They can finish like pretty soon, right?
Mhm.
They can move to enlist, and also combat and objective potentially. So that's huge.
Yeah, enlist, worker, combat, objective.
Also, I failed to mention they're at tier 2 now.
Yeah, yeah, we just saw that on the scoreboard. They're covering the bid against Tagawa. If the game ended now, Nordic would win.
Mm-hmm.
Does limit you in bumping workers, but there are no workers on this board. No one has brought
Right.
workers out to this board. Now,
Rustviet's
Rustviet,
going to have something to say about that, but
yeah,
they have the highest price, so
artillery hurts a little bit here, but you can win this, and you have the combat cards to throw down. But you
do you think
lose
Tagawa? Sorry, go ahead.
if you do a regular move action here as Rustviet, though. You lose the bottom row action because you haven't
Oh,
traded for that additional food.
they're absolutely going to trade. I think they have to.
Mm-hmm. So the one thing if you're Nordic is it's not clear where you pick up your second combat, at least at this point. Going to be hard to get it off Rustviet, and Tagawa's sitting there on that leg, but a 2 popularity trap, despite what we said at the start of this game, really hurts you right now.
Mm-hmm. You can legitimately dive Saxony if the board permits it. That's like a valid strategy with Seaworthy, especially since you won't lose pop if they decide to give you the fight.
Oh, and Riverwalk lets you move to wood and then to that mountain, but there's a
Yeah.
worker there right now, so you'd have
Once
to
Saxony has left their base there, I think that's definitely like a thing they can do.
Tagawa
Okay,
going for
so
that factory.
I thought Tagawa might have decided to make Ronin first, but this is their best chance they'll ever have to trap the factory, and that is just essential to their game plan.
Mm-hmm.
But man, just look at what a disadvantage it is to be purple. Like you are struggling to move around and produce.
You got to win this fight.
Right, you can't chance it. And
You're
None
down
does
by
not,
24 against Nordic right now.
right.
I mean,
None is
that's
not a player to bluff, so I would expect them to throw 7. Obviously, if you don't have the cards needed, you can't do that, but they don't really play around. Yeah, paying full price for that factory, but it's worth it.
and maybe you save the popularity trap, which would just wreck Nordic's game right now.
Well, it would be hilarious if the pop trap was in the lake. I think they're gonna have to go coins here. Coins hurts everyone. Pop trap only hurts blue. So, oh wow,
Surprised to see that factory card get out last.
yeah, that's a good card. That's a very good card.
That's just no one willing to pay those coins
And you
in
know
this
what?
bid
That's the
game.
best card for someone who paid 0. If you have no bid, that card is phenomenal.
Yeah, no question. Tagawa picking up a great card despite getting to the factory last. I think
Yeah,
we can
that's
all agree.
huge.
And only needing 2 more enlists to grab the star. What do you do if you're Saxony right here?
Now it's time for your regular move, I think. I would hope you put those workers on the village. If you don't, your territory score is going to be very, very sad.
Saxony not electing to do that. At least not to put both of them on the village.
Oh no.
I don't know what's happening.
This is rough. I mean,
And
they're
both the
definitely putting themselves in a combat, like a powerful situation with 3 mechs on the tunnel, but you are capped out very soon, score-wise.
both objectives are already out.
Yeah. So they're saying, I'm going to get an enlist star and 2 more combats. That's what I see. And I don't know if I like that. Because look at the score. Like,
Yeah.
you paid 17, and Nordic or Tagawa is 5 up on you.
Yeah. And it's at least it's potentially a 12 point, 15 point swing if you can take the factory from Tagawa. But you have to believe there's a good chance that's the coin trap on that factory,
Definitely.
which makes it.
Yep, there it is.
Oh.
Coin trap. I gotta say, I did not see Russ doing this. I didn't expect this.
That hurts. If you're Rustviet, that
hurts a lot.
really hurts.
I think that's actually like potentially game ending.
Yeah, we're at round 14 and Rustviet's at -2 after the bid.
That's tough.
That's painful. That is painful.
Rustviet has 11 cards. Tagawa has 3. This is an easy fight, but you're gonna have to control the board for the next 5, 6 rounds permitting, and that's a very tall task. Because you taking the factory like this means you can never lose it. If you lose it, that trap is gonna fire again, and you just can't handle that.
Yeah. And I mean, chat liking Nordic right now. This game at this moment is. I mean, you feel like this game is Nordic's to lose at this point.
I agree with you. I really do. Okay, Tagawa going 2.
Point out that Derp here has made the finals the last 2 tournaments. So he's had, and he came a couple power away from winning the last one. So he's definitely been a dominant force. Oh my goodness.
This is not good.
We just saw an objective out of Rusviet.
Tactical mastery turned in. I really think you might want to hold that though. Because now, like, you're gonna be forced to not enlist. You do not want your balanced workforce. Are you kidding me?
In round
Balanced workforce
14.
by Tagawa? What in the world? Balanced workforce. None is insane.
Hey chat, we've got Caitlin on Sacked, we got None on Tagawa, Derp is on Nordic, and Jeremy's on Rusviet if you're just joining us right now.
Balanced workforce. Wow. They chose to produce there. I'm still in shock. Sorry. I gotta figure out like where they're gonna go next. Tagawa's a ways away from doing everything they need to do, but if you get one more mech, get your workers on the village, start using that factory. I mean, you only need to use your factory card one time. That's looking good. So their last star will be combat, but they're a ways away from it.
Saxony just did Nordic a big favor, and that is they set up on this village where, well, Nordic can't win the 1v1 versus Sax.
I don't know if they care though.
Well, they need one more combat, don't they?
Yeah, but if you fight Sax twice and you lose both of them, then you can factory move into them to end the game, or to get a combat at least.
Yeah.
You know, I think Sax is.
But right now, you are not covering the bid against Tagawa. You need some territory, or you need some stars.
Right, but you're gonna be adding, what is it, 12 points in stars?
Not if you end the game by just suiciding Saxony, though.
True. You'll get your enlist star for sure, and you'll probably get 1 or 2 combats off of Sax because they're not just gonna let you win, right? They're gonna give you a combat star, I imagine. It could work out.
You're taking a chance there, though. You're depending on a player who is maybe now out of this competition, playing in such a way to not be a kingmaker. But
I mean, you have to though. In finals, I think it's the responsibility of the players to have a winning strategy, and the excuse of like, oh, I can no longer win is just not valid here.
Yeah, and there, except for the element where Saxony is probably going to be playing Kingmaker either way if Nordic is diving them in the game. Because winning gives the stars to yourself and ends. Losing gives the stars to Nordic and potentially ends. So at that point, what's the right choice? And I think the answer is maybe just, if you've got a king make one way or the other, I think the answer is maybe just to maximize your points and take the stars. Which,
if you're in a position where both players have 5 stars and the combat decides the game, do you reward them for putting you in that position, or do you have someone not involved get the win? It's a tough question.
Yeah.
So Nordic is using their regular move, and this will get them more points for spreading. They can also get an encounter by doing this. And wow, look at that. They maybe have a tough objective is what I see from this.
And what could this objective be? Not foundations.
It might be
diversify.
Well, you brought so many workers.
Yeah, why? That's what I'm thinking, is why bring,
it could be like hedge or stockpile or something weird to do with resources.
Nordic snap picks the combat card in the popularity, not really even thinking about it very long.
Yeah, 2 for 3 seems okay, like 2 coins for 3 resources, but going to 8 pop is substantially better than 7 because now any combat with only 1 worker is also available to you.
Nordic with that spread up by 24 now. Commanding
That's
lead in this
amazing.
game.
I did not foresee tier 2 as an option from them, but it's doing wonders for their score.
Although we said at the beginning of the game for both Nordic and Rustviet, it was going to be hard to have a real chance in this game in tier 1, ending quickly.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Nordic now at 4 stars, just picking up their 4th enlist on that turn. Is that right?
Yeah, so for Nordic, their remaining stars are going to be 1 combat and 1 objective. So we have no idea what that objective is. And if it's one they already have in the bag, they're feeling very good right now.
But why the 4 workers on oil? Any ideas, chat?
So one idea is that Nordic wants their triple move, which they do not have. If they choose to produce, however, I think that's a bad look.
But you just need the 1 oil, don't you?
Yeah, so bringing all of those just tells me they want to move again. And that's just like, uh-oh. Factory move from Russ, knocking Nordic off of that village space.
Ooh. I don't hate this from Rustviet. I mean, you got
They're
to
your
do
biggest
something,
threat.
so maybe you slow down the leader.
Yeah,
Maybe
they're
that's
definitely
the
your biggest
classiest
threat.
thing to do here. Tagawa going with Shinobi.
Oh god. This is the nail that's slowly driving itself into the coffin. And Rustviet's laying in there.
Let's see what that
Shinobi to
did.
the factory will be brutal.
Nordic just up by 20 now over Tagawa, which covers the bid. But if Tagawa takes that factory back, and they can do it, although it might cost them.
I mean, they still need to get their villagers on a village tile. And they don't have Ronin, so that it might be a turn or two before they go to the factory.
And
Problem is, they
Morning,
don't have
and
time.
Morning thinks that Nordic might could possibly have get rich and produce 4 oil to turn around and trade 1 pop and
Yeah,
an upgrade for the coins. So they get themselves to 20 coins without
so they're 2 points off.
without losing popularity. Although they have a
2
pop to
points off,
give.
but you don't want to. You still have to get that combat, and you want to be moving. So even if it is get rich, you maybe just go for encounters to get it, because you can find 2 coin very easily.
Nordic's turn now.
Oh, their factory card, done. Now they have get rich, if that's something that's available. But where do you go? I think you move the oil workers, right? Unless you need them for something.
Go out to that lake, the workers, and then maybe place yourself on one of those wood spots.
Okay, they're on the wood spot. Woodland advantage. All right, that's 5 stars for Nordic. Now they're just 1 fight away.
Yep. You
Wow.
just need a combat now, but you have no power to do it with.
So that move makes so much more sense now. Like, your character being in the corner like that is not good, but it completed your objective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the most stressful part of all of this is Nordic can only move 2 units on their turn, and
Yeah.
that makes it very difficult. You have 0 power. Everyone else is closing in on 7 power.
What you'd love here, what you'd love to see, it's Rusty's turn right now, but you would love to see Saxony bolster into a deploy. Because then they go to 4 stars and you can end the game.
Yeah. And I think Saxony, well, whose turn is it right now? It's Rustviet, okay. Tough choices here, because everyone knows this might be their last move. I think you're going to see Tagawa move to the factory. That's for sure, like, the most desperate thing they can do to keep the game going.
They have to, right? They're down by
They
30.
absolutely have to. Because Nordic will definitely try to end if you do not.
I don't know
And
if Saxony sees it, but if they bolster deploy, the game's over. Nordic doesn't need that factory, and Tagawa can't get close enough, I don't think. I mean, down by 30, you'd pick up 9 going to the factory, which still puts you down at 21. And Nordic can double attack Saxony without losing any territory.
Rustfit's in a terrible position here because no matter where they move, it can't really hurt Nordic that badly. Like, if they hit the farm, they go to the lake. If they hit the wood, they go to the lake. If they try to block, you still can get there.
And it's hard to see Nordic not winning this game at this point.
Yeah, you don't want to play the role of the protector if you don't have to. So hopefully Saxony realizes that they need to move. Yeah, this is a stressful.
Thinking hard about this move, maybe realizing this is their last turn, trying to decide what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if Saxony bolsters into a deploy, the character can attack right here on the farm tunnel. And this mech on the lake can attack here on the village. So you're occupying those 2 territories, the lake and the forest. You lose both those combats. Saxony goes to 6 stars. You retreat the character to this lake and you retreat the mech to this lake. And basically you've ended the game losing 0 territory. You're up 30 on Tagawa right now. The most they can pick up 9 on this turn, maybe 11. But that still just makes 19. Yeah, that's enough. I mean, you can win as Nordic. So
we know Tagawa's going to take the factory, but it's not going to be enough.
I mean, Rustviet can.
If they block the oil space, if Rustviet blocks the oil space, Nordic can no longer end the game. So if they just move a villager or something 1 space down from the factory, that'll do it.
There's the factory card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know where I would go if I was red. I just don't know. I think, unfortunately, you just have to move to that oil space because that prevents the game from ending. If you trust that Saxony will move, of course, you can do something better, like get an encounter, but you're in a tough spot. Village. Attack. Okay, so unfortunately, this helps blue more than it hurts because now they can cycle out a bad card.
You lose that food, you lose a coin, though.
So they do lose 1, or is it 2 coin? Yeah, they lose.
Oh, yeah, tier 2.
2 coin, but they keep their territory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not nothing, but I think that it's especially tough to imagine because now it's on Saxony to try and get all of their units on 1 tile.
Nordic's still up by 28. Gawa about to take the factory. Picking up
4 territories in the process.
Yeah. And a star, so.
Yeah. Do you think Rustviet lets them have it?
I'd say no. I mean, you're fighting for pride here. I mean, maybe yes. Maybe you give Tagawa the opportunity to stall the game. Maybe sportsmanship here says don't just hand the game to Nordic. And neither Saxony nor Rustviet can stop Nordic right now, let's be honest.
Does Tagawa having the factory stop Nordic? I guess I have to do the math here. If you add 8 points, or I
And
guess you'd be adding 6 at this point, 45. It doesn't stop them.
yeah,
So I think so if Rustviet gives the factory away, they have no chance whatsoever of winning. They have a
Rustviet
small
has 2 combats AM morning, so Rustviet winning this doesn't end the game.
Right. Rustviet is saving their enlist for last, which is smart because obviously this would be the end of the game otherwise.
So 3 territories is 6. Star gets you to 9. That puts you at 48. That puts you tied, doesn't it?
Rustviet goes all out. I see where they're coming from. Like you can't win the game if you lose that tile. Your game is done if you lose that tile.
Saxony
Unfortunately,
bolsters here, the game's over.
well, look, like Nordic can now attack the factory.
True. Oh, Saxony attacking Nordic.
Is this okay? Whoa. This is not okay. And I'll tell you why. There's still 2 combat options for Saxony. Right? So like
For Nordic?
Saxony is still able to get hit 2 times. Which means the game is over.
Yeah. The game ends here.
Caitlyn needed to consolidate to save the game. This is Nordic's win.
I mean, unless Saxony somehow loses this fight, right?
Yeah, if Rustviet wins the fight, they're gonna have to also beat Nordic 2v2. But the only way this game goes on is if Rustviet wins, which will be their 3rd fight in a row.
Chat is oh, there it is. Saxony goes to 5 stars. Good game, Nordic.
Wow. I wonder if they. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they can't avoid the end now. They're at 5 stars. Nordic's at 5 stars. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you spread, drop a worker on this mountain spot, move up to this oil tunnel just to grab some more points. And then you move your mech either to the factory or this farm tunnel. Doesn't really matter. Or do it this way. This works too.
Yeah. Don't need to make it complicated. Wow. I gotta say, I expected Saxony to run away. I expected them to pile up on one tunnel, for example.
Nordic now in a commanding lead. I mean, I think just eyeballing it, we know how this is ending. 29 ahead of Tagawa. Gonna go ahead and win the battle. Why not?
Yeah.
6 stars.
Wow. Quite an exciting game. Congrats to Mr. Durr, our 3rd Digital Edition Tournament Scythe champion. Well deserved.
With a total of 75 coins in Tier 2.
Incredible.
Which, beating Rustviet by, let's do our math here, by 32 after bid. Beating Saxony by 32. And beating Tagawa by...
Wow. Well played.
What, 27? So, commanding win. Absolutely commanding win by Mr. Derp. Well played. Very well played.
Amazing event. Like, congratulations to all of our top 4 players here. Very exciting game. I was definitely like on the edge of my seat when everyone went to the factory like that. And exciting finish. So
yeah, and Joy, I want to say, I think I speak for everyone in chat and everyone in this tournament to say thanks for all your work on this. So congratulations to our tournament winner, Mr. Derp. Well played. Thanks, chat, for dropping in and for your participation in chat. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching and catch you later.